my heart. Terms and conditions. Terms and conditions. The text, the talk, the takeaway. I'm going to give you the text, going to give you a talk, and then there's going to be a takeaway. Got a lot to read to you this morning. Jeremiah 18:4. Jeremiah 18:4. Now, as you're turning there, so many of you are already familiar. You know, it's the potter's house, and that's where this particular text is. But I need you to hear it again, see it again for the first time. Jeremiah 18:4. But the pot he was shaping from the clay was marred in his hands. So he formed it into another pot, shaping it as seemed best to him. How many of you want a successful future? How many of you want a successful future? Here is the context of the text. What's going on in this text is this. Here is Jeremiah. He's talking to the nation of Israel. He's letting them know that God has some terms and conditions for them. And God writes to him, or speaks to him rather, in a prophetic way, in which he begins to write and saying that God told him to go down to the potter's house that he might be able to see the Lord's terms and conditions. And I want you to hear this. Now, I want to read this to you right quick. It is in Jeremiah 18, and it's four times, you get the word if. Two-letter word, if. Now, if is all about terms and conditions. Now, after he says that, notice what he says. If at any time I announce that a nation or kingdom is to be uprooted, then he says, and if that nation I warn repents. Then he says in the 9th verse, and if at another time. And then in the 10th verse, if it does evil in my sight. If that's not terms and conditions, I don't know what is. Three things I want to share with you this morning about terms and conditions and what God is doing in our lives. The first thing is this: consider the terms. Consider the terms. Jeremiah is saying to the nation of Israel, look, God got some terms, and you need to consider these terms that he's dealing with. Four times he says, if. What comes to my mind right now, in my household right now, as we speak, literally, we have a refrigerator saga going on. It's been 30 plus days we've been without a refrigerator. We got coolers, we got little dorm room refrigerators and all of that we're using. The refrigerator broke, and First Lady is always on top of things like that. She had an extended warranty that we paid for. Wow, it's a good thing that she did. And in that extended warranty, guess what? There are terms and conditions. They have come to our house 3 times. They're due this morning. Okay? Every time they've come, there's been something else that they didn't, get ready for. Well, here's the bottom line. From compressor to motherboard to whatever. Today is the last opportunity they have to fix it, because, here you go, the terms and conditions of the extended warranty says, you don't get it done today, we get a new refrigerator. That's terms and conditions. If we have considered the terms when we did the extended contract. You need to make sure that when you get the warranty with the Lord, you need to read the terms, baby. Read the terms. Here's the second thing, is this. Remember, you're the clay. Remember, you are the clay. Notice that in verse 4, the 18th chapter, it says that the clay was marred in the hand. In other words, it had no form. It was about pretty much nothing. It was simply clay. Well, let's go back to the refrigerator saga that we had. One of the times that they were here, I was talking to the repairman, and he shut me down. Now, how is that? What kind of customer service is that? Telling me to be quiet so he can talk. Well, okay, Go ahead, knock yourself out. Act that way if you want to act. But just remember, you the clay. You the clay, baby. And this thing ain't going to work well for you because you got to remember you're the clay. And this whole thing is marred in my hands. Here's the third thing I want to share with you this morning, and that is you got to comply with the terms. You got to comply with the terms. Let's go back. I want to read the 12th verse to you in the 18th chapter of Jeremiah. Here it is. It says, but they will reply, the nation of Israel, they're replying. Jeremiah's talking, and he says this, it's no use. Israel talking. We will continue with our own plans. Each of us will follow the stubbornness of his evil heart. Come on, Israel. Come on, nation of Israel. Why won't you comply with the terms? The Lord laid them out. We already know Jeremiah 29:11. We love to quote it. For I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you, not harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. But we never, very rarely, if ever, consider the terms and conditions. Nation of Israel did and says, look, we will just deal with the stubbornness in our heart. We will do what we want to do, when we want to do it, how we want to do it. Well, you got to understand something. As I said at the very beginning, if you want to be successful in your future, you got to know that you better comply with the terms that God has. What's your takeaway this morning? Your takeaway is this. When considering your future, remember the one who has your future in his hands also has you in his hands. And therefore, you have to know the terms and conditions in order that you might have a successful future. He has you in his hands, and he also has terms and conditions in his hands. And you better comply if you want to be successful. The Lord be with you today. May his face shine upon you and give you peace. We're going to be dealing with this all week long. God bless you. And make sure, come on now, I need you to share the manna this morning. If it bless you, bless somebody else. Don't be greedy. Don't eat all the manna and keep it to yourself. Share these leftovers. God bless you. See you tomorrow morning with more Morning Manna. Bye now.